1-star rated movies. Me personally, I'm a big movie person. I like emotional movies that really don't skip plots. That's my type of movies. I like a movie that sticks to its plot and finishes through that plot. There's a lot of movies that do that these days and just skip over plots, and there's a whole bunch of plot holes. Not calling anybody out. But we gotta rotate. I like to think of myself as a director. Like, I direct my own movies in my own head. I don't know if anybody else does that. If it's only me. Shout out to this guy, Derek FDB. I watch his videos all the time. He's a funny guy. Let's get to it. 1-star rated movies.
I went over a lot of movies on this channel. Some that I liked, some that I didn't like, even some that y'all didn't like. But something that I've never gone over on this channel is movies that the world didn't like. And that's what we'll be doing today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be going over movies with some of the lowest ratings and the most 1-star reviews I could find, to find out if people are just hating or these movies are actually just that. I'll personally give them a rating once I'm done covering each one. And in the end, I'll go over a movie with some of the
Hopefully I know some of these movies, or else I'm going to be lost. Hopefully there is some good movies in here that I know.
most 1-star reviews ever, and possibly one of the most hated movies ever. And I'm getting straight into the trash, because the first movie I'm going over is called The Hottie and the Naughty. What y'all think this one's about? With a smooth 2 out of 10 stars and a calm, just a calm 26,000 1-star reviews. Oh my goodness. This movie's in the top 6 lowest rated movies on IMDb, and I never seen it. But after reading some of these reviews, I had to know what all the fuss was about. Like, listen to this review and tell me you're not at least a little intrigued about how bad this movie could be. A guy by the name of Meeker said, "Oh my, that's bad. I am just amazed that, as of this moment, there are 554 people who rated this movie a 10. I would like 10 pounds or 20 gallons of whatever it is that has warped their mentality to such a degree. Acting, abysmal to non-existent. Script, huh? What's that? Directing, not that I saw. My only regret is that I cannot vote less than 1 out of 10 stars. Like, I had to watch it, and I did. But before I give you my thoughts on it, I know y'all ain't watched it, so let me give you a quick rundown. Alright, so this movie is a rom-com, which, that's how you know it's gonna be bad. Well, we follow this dude named Nate who just got dumped by his girlfriend. And since he's newly single and never really loved the other girl, I guess, he decides he wants to get back in the game immediately.
What is a rom-com? Romance and comedy? There's some funny rom-coms out there. They're all really the same plot though. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, they can meet their boss or something. Like, a man is like new to New York, he just moved to New York. He has a boss, and all of a sudden he pitches this perfect idea to her, and they go to his parents' house for some reason in Maine, and that's where he does his big idea, and they fall in love, and then they sleep with each other, and then they go into the house, and then his sister catches him walking out of her room or something. I don't know. His mom is like, "Oh, I saw you sneaking out of her room. I know you slept with her, this and that." And then he's like, "No, it's not like that. I don't like her. That's my boss, Mom." And then the boss hears that because she's actually awake. And the next day, she actually thought that you guys were catching feelings, and she leaves. And then you catch her at a train when she's about to go back to New York, and you say that you really love her.
Decides he wants to get back in the game immediately. And instead of chasing new girls, he wants to rekindle an old love. The one that got away. His first grade crush. That's right, first grade. Who now lives across the country and he hasn't seen since they were 6 years old. Yep, haven't seen each other in 20 years. So this guy Nate travels across the nation to find her. And he does. She turns out to be Paris Hilton. And she even agrees to go on a date with him. But with one catch. She'll go out with him, but he has to find her friend a date as well. Oh, find her friend a date? That shouldn't be so hard.
Oh my goodness!
And so Nate spends the rest of the movie trying to find her a date. And that's all you gotta know for me to tell you that this movie is trash. I mean, really, I normally hate on rom-coms and call all of them trash, but y'all, this one is seriously trash. Like, first of all, for a rom-com, there ain't much calm going on in this movie. Like, it's not very funny. Which is crazy because it has such a funny premise. Like, it's pretty much a take one for the team type of situation, right? Except the guy trying to pull the hottie should realistically be the one with the naughty. Like, it's pretty funny. But this movie manages to do nothing with it. And that ain't even the only thing they messed up on. Even the girl, I'm not calling her that. The girl June being deemed as ugly, they messed up on that too. It's like the creators of this movie don't even know what it actually means to be ugly. Like, looking at her, you know, she doesn't look the best, but it's not because she's ugly, it's because she's dirty. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. Like, ugly to me is,
I think taking one for the team, I think, say my girlfriend brought, one type of friend around, A type. I'm not going to say anything other than A type. But say she brought her A type friend around, and he likes C type of girls. But she brought an A type of girl. There's a big gap in between that. Maybe he would go for a B, but he probably wouldn't go for an A. That's what I'm saying. That's a take one for the team. I'm not saying that take one for the team is she's ugly or whatever, but she's not my standards. That's a take one for the team.
like, no matter what you do, you stuck, my boy. I hate to break it to you, but you stuck. But the stuff we see in this movie is like her toenails and teeth rotting. Like, ugh, that's more gross than it is ugly. Ugly is different. Ugly is not this. Like Harvey Weinstein, that motherfucker is ugly. This girl, though, she just needs a dentist and a shower. And then the last thing I want to point out about this movie, and I want to speak on it too long because it's a comedy movie and it's supposed to be ridiculous, but I got it. Bro, the fact that this dude traveled cross country for a girl that he hadn't seen since he was 6, come on, it gotta be at least a little concerning. At least a little bit. Like, last time you seen her, y'all were preschoolers, and that popped in your mind as the true love of your life? Word? But yeah, this movie is boo-boo. Even the ending, you would think it would be something like he falls for the naughty over Paris Hilton to show personality beats looks. But no, he does fall for her, but only after she gets a whole makeover and is no longer ugly to him. And it's supposed to be a happy ending? Man, this movie getting 3 out of 10 stars from me. And I'm only rating it higher because I like his Speed Racer costume. That's the only reason. But like I usually say, that was only the first movie. The next one might be even worse. The next movie I got up is titled, be ready, Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th. That's the title. Now, you may be looking at this movie how I was looking at it the first time I seen it. Like, I know you from somewhere, but you don't look right. And you would be right. The movie you're probably thinking about is Scary Movie, but this is not that. Because this movie, just like Scary Movie, is a parody of a bunch of horror movies released in the 80s and 90s. But there's a reason you haven't heard of this one. Coming in at 4 stars out of 10, this movie is definitely not as loved as Scary Movie. But the question is, are people just hating? Is it really a 4 out of 10? Is this movie so bad that it deserves to be called the worst movie ever? Hell yeah. No, I'm kidding. Look, this movie is not good, but it ain't the worst. It got some funny things going for it, like the killer, because it's a parody of Scream. The killer never actually kills anybody. It's more like he accidentally makes them do it themselves. Like, this one girl runs into a beehive and dies. Like, that's pretty funny. They also got a guy named Bonner in the movie that they always call Boner, which I know it's immature, but I find it funny. And then Coolio's in it. That's cool. It's Coolio, y'all. The messed up part is these movies were made around the same time, but since it got delayed,
I don't know how I feel about these movies. Like, they're cool and all, but they're all the same. Like, they're all like these unfunny, scary movies that are just like kind of corny. I mean, something that like high schoolers would make with $500 and an iPhone, you know?
and came out after Scary Movie, some people called it a parody of Scary Movie instead of calling it a parody of the movies it was actually trying to parody. That's messed up. I was one of those people. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just racist. But I think even if this one did come out first, people would still think this one's a parody because the Wayans brother one still would have bodied it. Like, come on, y'all, let's be real. This one don't got Ray or Shorty or Brenda or Cindy or even Doofy. They do got that one guy from Scary Movie 3, but that ain't the Wayans, bro. That ain't the Wayans. I'm sorry. I think a 4-star rating is too low for this movie, so I'm gonna give it a 4.5. 4.5 stars out of 10 is not bad. That's not bad at all. Especially when you consider the fact that after this movie, it's all downhill from here. Because this next movie I got up might actually be the worst one I've ever covered on this channel. Oh boy, this movie. Coming in at a
All the
strong
chick cover made me
3.3 out of 10 stars. I first heard about this movie back when it first released in 2020. And if you don't know, this junk was everywhere for like a month. Cause believe it or not, there's a lot of people, mainly women, who actually like this movie. And you'll see why in a sec. But real quick, before I get into this one, I know some of y'all watch my videos with your friends or your siblings or even your parents. And I'm flattered. I truly am. But y'all gonna have to split up for this movie. I'm serious, especially if you're watching with your parents. Please, just split up, mama, please. That was your warning. Alright, so this movie is about two people. An Italian guy by the name of Massimo and a Polish lady named Laura. And their lives are drastically different. Massimo is a cold Italian mafia boss whose father was killed right in front of him. And Laura, her life just isn't as exciting. I mean, yeah, she's a higher up in this sales company, which is pretty cool. But besides that, there's not much going on. Doesn't help either, she's dating this bald freaking couch potato who never wants to do anything with her, and I mean anything, which I'll never understand how that stuff happens. I understand if you was like in your 60s, because you know at that point your piece is practically paralyzed, but these dudes are like in your 30s. How do you lose love for the game that fast? But yeah, point is, Laura is clearly unsatisfied with her life and definitely unsatisfied by Caillou over here. But things were about to change for Laura, because to get at least a little thrill in her life, she decides to celebrate her 29th birthday in Italy. Ah, Italia. You know I know a little Italian myself. Grazie. Prego. That's about it. But after she gets mad at Caillou for literally ditching her on her birthday, bro, this dude must have lied all over his resume to pull her. Cause ditching your lady on her birthday and pulling back up in this fit is insane. Laura goes on a late night walk to get her mind off things. In a random town, in a country that she does not know. So what do you think happens? She gets kidnapped. And watching this, I thought it was Bowser who was responsible, because Laura wakes up in a castle. And on top of that, when she goes downstairs, she sees a painting of herself hung up on the wall. Yeah, that's Bowser obsession if I've ever seen it. But when she turns around, it wasn't Bowser standing behind her. It was an Italian man. But not Mario. It was Massimo, the guy I told you about from the start. Massimo, what you doing here, my boy? And this one, the movie surprised me, but not in a good way. This guy Massimo comes in and not only tells Laura that he's the one who kidnapped her, but he tells her that he did it because he's madly in love with her? Yeah, it turns out the day his father...
Hey, that makes sense. That makes sense. I would do the same thing. It's the love of my life. You know, went across the country. They sure forgot about me. I would go over there, become a mob boss, and kidnap her.
Died, Massimo had caught a glimpse of Laura at the beach and couldn't forget about her. Bro, your dad just died, and he spent all these years looking for her, which leads us to now, where he drugged her and kidnapped her so he can finally have her. And for as crazy as this sounds, it wasn't even done there. Because after the dude tells her how she's not getting her phone back, he tells her he's gonna give her a chance. And I watched this thinking, oh, whew, thank goodness he's gonna let her go. He tells her he's gonna give her a chance. He'll let her go, but only after she stays with him for 365 days, aka a year, to see if she falls in love with him. And you know, at this point I realized why this movie has 31,000 one-star reviews.
That does not make sense. What do you mean? Keeping a woman hostage for a year. That is the worst idea I think I've ever heard of. What? And you're a rich Italian mob boss with a woman whose husband doesn't respect her. And you don't think you could steal her like that? Are you kidding me? So you think, alright, let me kidnap her. Alright.
You telling me this dude drugged and kidnapped this girl in an attempt to swoon her? Was this game in 2020? I don't think this was game in 2020. What is wrong with this dude? I mean, really, like, just imagine this. Like, imagine this. Imagine you a dude, right? And you see a girl that you think looks good on the beach. You know, she looks good. And then your dad gets popped right in front of you. You gonna forget that girl. But Massimo is different. If it wasn't for the fact that he also got shot too, he probably would have been on the ground with his dad like, Papa, no. You can't leave me, Papa. Hey, that girl on the beach is kind of bad, though. And just think about how confusing that must have been for Laura. Like, this dude over here talking about some, you are the love of my life. Motherfucker, I don't know you. Or at least that's how I thought she'd react. But it really is true what they say. Some people will let you kill them as long as you look good. Cause tell me why, all this kidnapping and drugging stuff, this girl Laura was low-key into it. Bro, what the how is this romantic? How? Maybe I'm just not the most attractive guy, but I'm pretty sure if I tried any of the stuff this dude does, it would fail horribly. Could you imagine me trying to sneak up behind a girl the way this dude does and use one of his lines? Are you lost, baby?
What?
Ah, my eyes! My pepper spray straight to my face. I mean, really, it has to be a looks thing. You think if this 6'3" mafia boss was instead of 5'5" dude who worked at Kroger, this stuff would be cool or hot? No, this would be a horror movie. I know people let people they find attractive slide with stuff more often, but this is just getting out of hand. You never see me doing this. If a 10 out of 10 invited me over to her crib and she just had a painting of me in her living room, what do you think? I'm gonna just stay and be cool? Well, I'm gonna think about it. But no, a painting of me without even knowing me is crazy. After seeing something that creepy, I am at most seeing her only like 3 or 4 more times. 5 max. But that's it. I don't know what she's capable of. I'll be honest, y'all. I don't want to continue talking about this movie. But Derek, we gotta know what else happens. What did those women like about it so much? You really want to know? Well, the thing they like about it so much, and the reason I'm stopping here, and the absolute worst thing about this movie is that after this kidnapping scene, right? Laura starts actually falling in love with little Bill over here, which is bad enough, but that ain't even the main issue. The issue is after she falls in love with him, this movie becomes a straight up corn film. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, I mean it, straight up corn. Every 10 to 15 minutes something will go down. On a boat, which is usually their favorite, everywhere, every few minutes for no reason. And as much as some of y'all freaks would like to see, no, y'all gonna have to take my word on it. And that's why this movie, for all its 1-star ratings, was the top movie on Netflix and ended up getting 2 sequels. 2. And the reason is simple. This movie is quite literally a gooner movie for women. That's what it is. Like, these positive reviews will remind you that some women could be just as down bad as some men. Look at some of these. Angelica gave it an 8 out of 10 stars and says, wasn't watching for the plot. Then you got Annie, who gave it 9 out of 10 stars and says, makes you feel things, winky face. And then you got the worst one, Bianca, who gave this movie a 10 out of 10 and says, I loved it. My boyfriend hated it instantly. I told him it achieved the goal of the film when I was aroused by it. Shrug emoji, smile emoji, sequel please. Huh? A prayer for Bianca's boyfriend. That's only a few of them too. There's some reviews in here that give you a college essay on why this movie was good goons. My female viewers could never. Right, y'all? This one ends with Massimo and Laura falling in love in under 365 days. It only took about 3 before he started fucking. And Laura may be getting assassinated by a rival mafia family while she's on the way to tell Massimo she's pregnant. Yeah, pretty messed up ending. Still getting 2 stars from me though. Might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But although it's one of the worst ones, I still have one more extremely low rated movie I'm gonna go over. Probably one of the most hated movies of the 2010s, and coming in at a whopping 3.5 stars, The Emoji. Unlike 365 Days, where I at least saw a girl I was following, glazing it on her story, I have never seen a single person say they like this movie. On the contrary, every time this movie is brought up, it's just straight hate. But the question is it warranted? Spoiler alert, kinda. Alright, so if you don't know, in the Emoji movie, we follow this emoji named Gene who lives in a place called Textopolis, an emoji world inside of the phone of this middle school kid named Alex. And this emoji world is obviously full of emojis. I mean it, any emoji your phone has, this world got. I'm talking the crown emoji, the shrimp emoji, the eyes emoji, every emoji, all of them. And every emoji in this world has to behave like what it is. Well, what do I mean? The laughing emoji, no matter what happens, has to always laugh. The crying emoji could win the lottery and have 2 baddies right next.
I don't think that this was a bad movie. Especially when I was a kid. I don't think this was a bad movie. I'd watch it now with like some family. It's not that bad. I don't know why everybody's hating on it.
To him, and he still has to cry. The smirk emoji could get the most terrible news in the world. I'm sorry, son, but the cancer is now stage 4. The poop emoji, no matter what happens to him, has to always I don't know, smell like shit. My point is, the emojis gotta act like what they are, which already brings up an issue I got with this movie. This little rule of acting like the emoji you are doesn't even apply to every emoji. It doesn't. Like, for example, the movie makes it a huge deal that our main character Gene is an emoji that doesn't act like he's supposed to. He's a meh emoji. Y'all know the one that's like disinterested looking, the little sassy side-eye one? That's like, whatever. That one, that's the one he is. But he doesn't act like that all the time. Sometimes he'll laugh, sometimes he'll smile, sometimes he'll smirk, and the other emojis in Textopolis shame him for that. This is some BS. It's favoritism if you ask me. They'll say the emojis aren't allowed to break character, but then you got the poop emoji laughing while coming out the bathroom. Like, I'm pretty sure mine doesn't do that, does y'all's? And then the elephant emoji over here cracking jokes. Like, I know they ride tricycles, but I ain't never seen one do stand-up. It's favoritism. It's some systematic favoritism against the yellow emojis. And besides it not being applied evenly, it also just brings up so many questions. If emojis gotta act like what they are all the time, would the kissing emoji be a hoe? Constantly having to kiss up on people? What about the people emojis? What would the white or black guy emoji act like emoji movie? Huh? You wanna tell us? I already know the Dominican flag emoji never gonna be on time for shit. It's stupid. They're stupid. The rules of this universe just don't make sense to me. But that was only the start of my issues with this movie. Cause I don't know if y'all remember, but the plot, even dumber. All the problems in this movie start cause the emojis failed to, get this, help this kid Alex bag his crush. I'm not joking. And you're probably wondering why. Well, what happened was, when he was texting her in class and he wanted to send her the meh emoji, Gene made the wrong face. So when Alex sent it, his crush was not rocking with it. And I'm sorry, if all it takes is one misclicked emoji to mess up your chances with a girl, then just give up. The girl did not like you regardless. Unless you randomly send like the eggplant or drool emoji, that might be on you. But yeah, his crush was not rocking with it. And Alex does what I think any sensible person would do after a small texting blunder like this. Delete everything on his phone. Yup, off one texting mistake and Candy Crush glitching and randomly saying, tasty. He wants to factory reset his phone. And when I saw this, man, talk about privilege. When I was this kid's age, I had a broken Obama phone. Do y'all remember Obama phones? Those were those free phones you could get when Obama was president. I had one of those. While all my friends had iPhone 7s and the newest Samsungs, I was over here struggling to text my mom one sentence. One! And you don't even want to know how pissed I was when Flappy Bird came out. And on top of that, it was broken. And I spent seasons with this junk. And this dude bought to reset his phone because he got custom emojis and Candy Crush acting up? Privilege. But yeah, that leads Gene on a journey where he has to survive, I'm not joking, Candy Crush, Just Dance, and possibly worst of all, falling for a goth girl. Oh my goodness. Also, he can fix himself so he can become meh all the time. Mind you, all of this is happening.
I love the Just Dance part. The Just Dance part was the best part. I love the Just Dance part. That's really it. That's really it. And those robots things were annoying.
While at the same time trying to avoid being deleted by these robots and trying to stop the kid Alex from wiping his phone. Yeah, that 3.5 starting to look really accurate. When this movie originally came out in 2017, I ain't watch it. And looking back on it now, thank goodness. If I would have seen something this bad back then, I'm not even joking, that might have flung me into a depression. That was peak sad Bart Simpson edit era. I couldn't risk that. I'll say this though, only thing maybe saving this movie maybe is its message. But even then, I don't think I even agree with it. From what I've gathered, the message in this movie is supposed to be, you know, the usual don't change for anyone. Just cause you're different or a standout like Gene doesn't mean you should conform to society's rules and become bland. Which is nice and all, but again, this is some bullshit. Yes, I believe you shouldn't change for anyone, but if you being different leads to the real life equivalent of the end of the world, then just conform, bro. Be bland. Keep them emoji faces to yourself. This is our lives on the line we're talking about. This one ends with Gene embracing being different and who he is after having a heart-to-heart with his father, who can also express himself in different ways, I guess. And then right before they get deleted, he helps Alex bag his crush, saving them all. Because it turns out, you don't need to give a girl compliments or gifts or any of that junk to woo her over. You don't even gotta say anything at all. Just send her a cool emoji, that'll do it. But just cause I think this movie's rating is deserved, does not mean I think this is the worst one of the video. That title was going to 365 days. Cause yeah, with the emoji movie, most of the jokes weren't funny, the world kinda doesn't make sense, and they had a dance party at the end, like, oh my goodness. At least it's watchable. Like, I could play this in the background while I'm doing something and not care. 365 days though, I can't watch that. So nothing's topping 365 days. No pun intended. That's pretty much all the movies I wanted to go over this time. I'm sorry this took so long. Y'all know how life be. But yeah.
I really thought that the emoji movie is not that bad. I mean, I don't know why everybody thinks it's that bad. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below which one you thought was the worst 1-star rated movie. And I'll see you guys in the next one.